You know, guys, it's really hard sometimes. You come into jiu-jitsu and you know, it's new to you. There's so many nuances, so many different rules, so many things to know. Sometimes there's like a bunch of unwritten stuff or things that you haven't heard before. Guys, my name is Bill Jones, head instructor of top-level martial arts in beautiful downtown Cuyahoga Falls. I'm here with my student and certified instructor in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Kendall Gage. How you doing, Kendall?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah.
Guys, this is Professor's Corner. Thanks for watching. Hey, if you have any of these unwritten rules that you can think of that maybe we don't cover, or maybe want to, give more information on some of the things we do cover, or something's different about your academy, write it below. I'd love to hear about it. And of course, if you have any questions or anything, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like the video. It helps a lot, and we really appreciate it. So the first and probably most important one as far as like rolling etiquette goes is like small joint manipulation.
Yes.
So jiu-jitsu is kind of founded on the idea, see you later, it's kind of founded on the idea that, you can do everything at like full go and there's a low likelihood of injury. I won't say it's not likely, but you can go pretty hard and not get injured. But like small joints like fingers, toes, things like that, don't be grabbing those individually. Now if you grab like 3 or 4 fingers all at once, that's fine. That whole unit's going to move. But like when you're grabbing like one finger, there's not time for them to tap before that thing just snaps so easy.
And like jiu-jitsu is pretty hard on your fingers and toes anyway. Toes get caught on the mat, gi grips. Like go to a judo competition anywhere in the world and find a guy without finger tape. Like every guy without finger tape.
Yeah, I just took mine off.
Go to a jiu-jitsu tournament even. Look at Keenan Cornelius's permanently like hooked up hands. It's hard enough on the fingers. We don't need people lowering your quality of life, but not lowering your ability to fight them at the time. Right?
Yeah. And while we talk about that, I mean, something else that'll help save your fingers is you're not allowed to grab like, and of course this is a rash guard. You can't grab a rash guard anyway, but like inside the sleeve of a gi. Yeah, I can't go inside his pants and grab. I can't go inside the sleeve and grab. And that's kind of for your own benefit because they start twisting and stuff, and all of a sudden fingers just.
It's a really good grip, but it's too good of a grip.
Yeah,
you might
plus
not
it's
be
just
able
dominating.
to let go. Yeah.
It's just dominating. And so the next thing I'm going to talk about is like fingernails and toenails. Like they should be relatively short.
Yeah.
Like if you look at mine, the end of the fingernail should really be behind the finger bed itself. That way you're not scratching anything or hurting people.
Yeah.
Same thing with toes.
A rule of thumb I've read once, I don't know if this is great, is like make as tight a fist as you can, and like if you look at your fingernail, your hand, and you can see little lines afterward, your nails are probably too long. Trim them.
Yeah. Because I mean, think about it. When you grab somebody else, that's probably going to happen to them.
Yeah, it only has to slip fast at a weird angle one time.
Yeah.
And then they're bleeding, and then they got to tape that up, and that's 5 minutes of their life that they're not going to get to choke you anymore.
And how about like smells, gi smells?
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah. Make sure your gi is clean. And that includes like tobacco smoke too. Like most people in jiu-jitsu get into it to be healthier and stuff, and they don't want to sit there smelling like tobacco and like cigarette smoke and all that kind of stuff like crazy while they're trying to roll. It can be very
it'll like
nasty.
give them headaches and stuff like that. Like some people are real sensitive.
And you probably don't even notice it if you're a smoker. I mean, if you are, I get it. You're addicted, but like, you want to kind of not do that. So keep your gi away from your inside.
If you think you're nose blind, get someone to help. Just be like, hey, does it smell like cigarettes?
Be like, hey, does this smell like shit?
And if they say, I don't know, then that's a good sign. And if they say, oh, then yeah. And if they hesitate, then it's a yes. So it's just like chokes and cranks.
Cigarette smoke, yeah, they agree.
It's just like chokes and cranks. If you ask, was that a choke or a crank, and they hesitate, it was a crank.
Yeah.
So. Yeah,
that's another one. Like when you're putting on a choke and stuff, it's very tempting to like just squeeze everything as hard as you can. And in a tournament, if whatever reason they tap. It doesn't matter. But like in training in like a sparring session or a rolling session in the gym, it's not good form to like just sit there and crank. Like you're trying to put on a cross choke, but it's on their face. It's just not good form. Now if they tuck into it, that's a little different.
Yeah, you play the stupid game and you want a stupid prize.
Yeah, but for the most part, it's just not good form. Bumping into higher belts, like if you're white belts and blue belts and you're rolling and you bump into like a purple belt or a brown belt or something. In general, you should be the one that moves. So the lower ranks move. Now, I would say there's caveats to that. If you're like near the edge of the mat already, or the others are like maybe they should.
It's like
move,
you and I are squeezing some white belts off the mat, then we're kind of being dicks there.
Yeah,
but, I think this rule partially has the assumption that the higher belts are already used to looking around and not doing that.
Right.
And that when something goes wrong, it's probably the, like, not to stereotype, but the hyper intense white belt roll where they're like super tense all the time and they've tunnel visioned. And
They got that battlefield focus and they're just like on each other. They don't even know there's like people beside them.
Yeah.
Grabbing rash guards, like you shouldn't grab rash guards even if they're wearing them under a gi, which in my opinion you should. If you're in an academy, and I get this from a lot of academy owners, they're like, hey, I wonder why I don't get too many women in here. Well, I guarantee you, if women come in and you got your hairy chest like dripping everywhere, that's probably a reason they're not there. So I highly recommend wearing a rash guard underneath your gi, and just in general, because one, it prevents the spread of disease, and two, it's less gross. Or some people don't like a rash guard under their stuff; they think it's too hot. A t-shirt, something. And I mean, like, it's fine. Like, you go to reach in the collar and you kind of get their shirt. Just be like, oh, wait. Pull the shirt and then keep going, you know?
And
like
it's an accident, that's one thing. But, like, if you're trying to grab, like, my sleeve and get, like, a sleeve grip on it, what you're going to do is discover that it stretches a lot and it's not a good grip. And then you're going to rip my thing. And these things cost money. Yeah.
And kind of along the same lines with, like, accidental grips and stuff, like, accidental hits. Like, you're coming through trying to pass hard and maybe you go to swim over and you elbow them in the head.
Right.
It's typically good form to quickly be like, hey, you all right? You know, just to make sure that you didn't elbow them in the head and like they're bleeding or something like that, or maybe it's never happened to them before and they're freaking out.
Right.
By the time you get to black belt, it happens constantly, and you're like, oh, I'm fine.
It doesn't have to be like a big procedure. It could be like, you good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. You're like, yeah, keep going. That's usually how it goes. Boom. You all right? Yeah, keep going. That's usually the whole exchange.
You could almost just make eye contact.
And I would say the same goes for like, I think which is typically a more embarrassing situation where like a guy accidentally grabs like a breast.
Right.
Like you're like, oh, you're okay,
or somebody accidentally like neon groins you.
Yeah, something with like quote inappropriate touch, but that was accidental inappropriate touch, and like most people are gonna be like, yeah, I'm fine, keep going. Like they're not even gonna care.
Right. Who's got time to pay attention? There's
a
person
they're busy not dying.
Me.
Yeah, they're busy choking you or not dying. They don't care that you accidentally, brushed up against their groin or their breasts or whatever. They don't care. As long as you're not a creep. If you're a creep,
don't make
get
a
the fuck out.
But
we're assuming that's not the situation.
Right.
What about like bragging? You ever have any like? It's one thing to be like, man, I'm really glad I got that tap tonight, but I think it's a completely different thing to be like, dude, every time I roll so and so, money. You know, like,
I'll be honest, I haven't encountered it.
Yeah, it happens.
But like I've seen tiny watered down versions of it, right? And those are weird enough.
They're like a fine line. Like don't get me wrong, everybody's happy when they get a move they've been working on.
Right.
Like I've been working on certain moves, and when I get it, I'm thinking, oh sweet, I got that move.
Yeah.
But I'm not thinking like, I'm not like bragging to myself. I'm like, okay, good. Yeah. I'm actually more like, what details caused me to get that? Which ones can I reproduce? Like that's really what I care about. But you know, it can be a fine line, and you definitely don't want to make someone feel bad, like sit there and like brag in their face or something.
Right.
And I would put that along with like unsolicited advice.
Yes.
Like some people just don't want to talk. Like we say no ego at the door, right? And we say, or leave your ego at the door, no ego. But let's be honest, especially when you first start jiu-jitsu, it's easy to take those to heart, like those losses, and you're like, God, I suck at this. Yeah. And some people, when they're in that frame of mind, don't want to sit there and be lectured or coached to, or they just want to like wallow and get out.
Yeah.
Other people want to be coached at that point, and it just depends on when they're receptive. And maybe you're not the person to coach them if you're the one who just made them feel bad.
Right. And also, like, during the roll itself, right? Like, don't be that guy who, like, mid-guillotine that he's doing to me is like, no, you gotta move your elbow, unless you're, like, actually his coach in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, it's different when they're trying it on me and it's clearly wrong, and I'm like, okay, you gotta do this.
Yeah.
But
if I'm, like, turning purple, then the move is fine. Let him do it, and then you can talk to him about that extra detail maybe later.
Yeah, like trying to save your own ego by coaching them through the move.
Yeah.
Like they got you in this locked out armbar, and you're like, turn my thumb. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You know, good job. I was going to get out, but...
And, like, a bad habit of mine is I do talk a lot in my roll. And sometimes I will roll, like, people who are brand new who don't know what to do from a position, right? But it's not, like, unsolicited advice. It's...
a little different, too, because you're one of our certified coaches.
Yeah.
You know, like, people expect
They
you to
rolled
coach
me
them.
expecting feedback, and I let them know I'm going to try to give them feedback before a match.
Yeah.
And so far, no one's ever been like, don't.
Yeah.
So.
And then coaching while rolling. I think that's pretty much. I mean, if we miss something, I'm sure we've missed something. List, right? That's certainly not everything.
Don't bring your food on the mat.
Don't bring your food on the mat. Don't bring drinks on the mat, Kendall. Sports drink, as we'll call it.
Right.
Until
that reptilian flavored or themed flavored sports drink has.
This is one we didn't say.
Okay.
Never go barefoot.
Oh yeah.
Like in an unclean area. Right. Like in our academy, we have an area mapped off that's like the quote clean zone as best it can be. But don't go barefoot to the restroom.
No, that's
disgusting. Bring flip flops to your classes. And my recommendation is if you have a place that you can, leave flip flops there so you never forget them, and just slip them on real quick. Go off the mat, slip them back off when you come in. That's like the best way to handle it. Because it's gross, think about it. You step in, especially, we have a bunch of kids at our school.
Yes.
And they're missing the toilet, guys. Let's be honest.
And they can't be trusted.
Full-grown adults miss the toilet, let alone kids.
And let's just be clear, if you walk in your shoes outside, then you walk in your shoes inside. Then some of outside is inside, too, right? Yeah. And so at some point, it's a fine line between just walking around barefoot outside and then tracking that into the gym.
Yeah.
Right? 99% of the time, it's probably just, dirt and dust. But only has to be gross one time to be gross.
Gross one time is gross.
I got another one that we were talking about before. If you've got something like a mouth guard, that's great. I'm glad you have that protect those teeth. Don't be playing with it every 5 minutes, because I don't want you to, when I'm teaching kids classes, if they put their hand in their mouth for a second, I'm like, get that out of there.
Go sanitize your hand.
Go sanitize your hand. Adults are getting better. I don't need all your gingivitis and stuff all over my lapel and my neck and my throat and stuff either, right? That's gross. You're already got a sweat in my eyeball. I don't need every fluid you got. So.
All right, guys, that's all we've got. Do me a favor, give Kendall a round of applause in the comments. Thanks for visiting us. Thank him for coming on the show. Guys, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them below. I love to hear questions. I love to see feedback. This is Professor's Corner. Have a good one.